Right. Because I think out loud. I need to change add shader stage. Maybe split it up in pipeline specific stuff and shader specific stuff. Preprocess seems shader specific. And I guess this one also. Build shader, definitely. Yeah, I think preprocess 1 looks for shader variables. Prepares declarations, and preprocess 2 fills in the declarations and replaces strings that were found. Good night, hello. That's the assert that is failing. And I suppose this is also shader specific. And then I guess this also, because it is declaration related. Prepare a uniform buffer declaration, same thing. So pipeline factory is pointing back to shader stage, which is the reason that the assert is there, because if we would have more than one add shader stage object for a given pipeline, I'm not saying pipeline factory because it is the moment that the pipeline factory is going to create a new pipeline and that it wants only one shader stage to be associated. In fact, the object is the same for all the pipelines it creates, so you might as well say per pipeline factory, I guess. IDC, hello. So add vertex shader is derived from add shader stage as a virtual base class. I need to see the source code for that. Right. So characteristics are derived from add shader stage. And this just tests if that is the case. Dynamic cast returns null if it's not. So if this returns a null pointer and M shader stage is still a null pointer, then it's not unequal and we don't do it. Otherwise, if this is unequal and this was not a null pointer, then we demand that M shader stage is still a null pointer. Because once it is set, and we would get here again, then we found another one. And then the assert happens. This was actually the assert I was talking about, and then apparently the other one isn't. The paranoid check that I saw. So yes, let's highlight this one as well. Then the declaration of add shader stage, or definition of add shader stage itself. Maybe you should add this inheritance stuff in a README because it's not that trivial. Apparently, good. Yeah, I want to 1.5 page more. So this is shader specific because it's a declaration. Again, talking about declaration. I guess when we find a push constant that is being used in a given shader. I find it confusing that the word shader and stage are basically the same thing. I guess the stage is a stage of the pipeline, and the shader is more the actual GLSL code that is being used for some of the stages. I could call it a shader stage, and then we're talking about a vertex shader and a fragment shader, and there's more that I never looked at yet. Well, this is also definitely, well, shader stage specific, either shader or stage. Again, a declaration. I think this is also shader specific. Declaration constant pointer. So when I see shader specific stuff like preprocess or compile, I'm going to say it's shader specific. And when I see declaration, I think the same thing. And this is just a triangle application, so I don't really care about that. So it seems to mean that the whole thing is really just per shader instead of per pipeline or per pipeline factory, except maybe for these three. And one of the things that I'm really interested in, I didn't really look at this. I thought it was that assert, but it wasn't. This is a reference to the something in the per stage shader module. I don't understand the assert. Surely there will be only one per stage. So if you get here twice, then that must be for different stages. In other words, you will get a different reference to a different object here, and it will always be null. You know, the assert is correct, and that's why it doesn't fire, but what does this mean? The comment is done wrong. A4. Oh, good that I didn't stream then. Now you could have studied the whole day until now. Hey, Hunter Dev. Yeah, I'm sleepy. Why is this not being used? You destruct them when add shader states, emperor stages destructed. Which are weaker units in the model. Yeah. So maybe they can be destructed sooner. Let's comment it out here. Yeah, it's apparently dead code, not used. But that means that this emperor state shader module is in this file only declared here, and to be private is private, so the only place it can be accessed from is from the .cxx file, and that is being done here. Why is this a reference? Oh, because you assign here. Yes, of course. I don't think this makes sense. This is bound to go wrong though, as soon as I have a range. I should add more comments, I guess. I'm using Arch Linux method. The range would call build shader again for a different fill index. Can we safely override? Then or what? No, okay, it's an assert that is maybe not related to the current problem. So then that leaves what? That leaves two. Not this one, just these two. Which are actually both related to this. Because here it's declared and here it's assigned. And then the question is, where is this being used? Well, it's being used here. And that's it. Why do we even need this? Prepare shader resource declarations. Now this comment is again a bit vague because it says that this function should only be called once per add shader state value and per shader resource. We are looping over the shader resource right now. It's just for loop here. So for each shader resource we call that, and then it says per add shader state value. In other words, there might be more with values than 1. But my whole current problem is that only 1 is allowed. So the comment doesn't really make sense, although I hope it does. So what do we do with that thing? A last argument? Okay, depends on what the shader resource it is. You have a combined image sampler and you have uniform buffer brace. So for each shader resource that is a uniform buffer, we're calling prepare uniform buffer declaration on the add shader states object. And for each combined image sampler, we call prepare combined image sampler declaration on the add shader states object. Okay, and then what are these things doing? Called from prepare shader resource declarations. This function is called once for each uniform buffer that was passed to a call to add uniform buffer. Realize shader resource declaration. Oh, shader variables is being filled here. And then a declaration is being created. Yeah. T9, 25 months now. I still cannot wrap my head around it. It's too difficult. I'm getting old, I think. So if I do an add in the characteristic, that's why I can do preprocess. Hey, Bear. Why am I needing this? Really need to understand and know why. You need it here. That's the only place where I need it. Why am I needing it here? Shade resource, prepare shade resource declaration. I want to make an AI that makes techno music. So I have infinite amount of music without copyright problems. Yeah, I'm listening to this. I don't dare to let you listen to it longer because then I get a copyright strike and shit like that. Acunalanabla. What do you mean? Encoding errors? Something wrong with my stream? I hate it when people say something vague like that. Testing 1, 2. My voice sounds okay. All the lights are green, so please be more specific. Thank you, some random channel. I get it from more people. So I'm 58 now. I have been a radio pirate when how old was I? 15, I think. 14 or 15. I did electronics since I was 7, and I started with high frequency electronics. I think around that same time. So then I built a transmitter for the normal radio. And I'm a perfectionist, as you can see in my coding. So I've always made a big deal of having good quality of everything. My the radio transmitter, I built also my own stereo coder. So I had really, really hi-fi quality sound when I was a pirate. In stereo, of course. I think it's a matter of thinking that it matters, you know. So, but I think most famous. I'm not famous, of course, but most famous YouTube streamers they have all a good microphone, you know, with the screen in front of it and everything. Expensive microphone, especially for voice. There are just loads of people, I think, on this planet that just don't care when it comes to subject X. I do care. So I really, I mean, I didn't even buy this microphone for this. I bought it for Second Life. At some point, I switched from IRC. So after, I've been a pirate, so I've been used to, you know, in the evening, sitting in my bedroom, talking to friends over the radio. We would just transmit and receive at the same time, so we could just chat, just like now. You cannot imagine that. I mean, it's way before internet. It's way before mobile phones. Nothing like that existed. The only thing that existed was a telephone line, a hard line that you just... I had to walk down to the living room where my parents were and then pick up a phone if I wanted to call a friend. Or to my bedroom and at no cost chatted with my friends for hours and hours and hours. So that's what I did, obviously. But at some point, 8 police agents, officers, busted through our door, and they took my transmitter because it was not allowed. But it was years and years and years later. So, but by then I was kind of addicted to having my social contacts go, you know, like that. And I mean, I'm a bit autistic, so I never had a very good social life as a teenager. So when internet came up, which was when I was, I guess, 28 or something like that, when internet started. I mean, in the beginning, that was dial-in. You only dial in. Also, landline again, modem, slow beep, that kind of stuff. And then you could talk with other people, but by text, which of course was not what I was used to, and not as fun. But still, that's what I needed. So I just logged into bulletin boards. There was no real internet yet, just universities that were connected somehow. And then you could, it's like kind of like email, I guess. You just posted something, or more like a forum. You post text, and then the next day you could see reactions. And it was actually quite fun, because there was on that same bulletin board was a lyrical ninja, as he called himself. He was amazing master with words, absolutely amazing. You cannot imagine how just using normal English words or Dutch words, he could write stories that would make your jaw drop in amazement what he could do with words. Brilliant writer. So that was fun time. And then I got into IRC as soon as internet really came up, and I think IRC was started by. Let's say in the beginning you only had Unix operating systems. There were no PCs. Well, actually there were. Sorry, that's wrong. But there was no. When networking came up, Microsoft was sleeping. They didn't do anything with that. So you had something that was called Talk. So if you had a business with a few Unix machines, or rather one big Unix machine and a lot of teletypes connected to it, then you could see who was logged in, typing who. I think this is also Unix. Linux is Unix, so you can still type in who. And you see that Carlo is logged in a few times, but then you would say all kinds of different names. And you could type in talk, let's say PS2. And then you get a prompt here, and then you could type a line and then hit enter, and then that line was just sent to the screen. So I'm working here, blah, blah, blah. And then suddenly, bang, the text came on my screen from Carlo, PS0. And that, well, they had that so people working on the same Unix box could talk with each other. And this Finnish student made, I think it was Finland, he made IRC, Internet Relay Chat. Which, basically, the idea was that 20 people, well, more than 2 at least, at the same time could talk. And what he had in mind was like 20 people in a room talking. So you would say something, and it would be sent to multiple people, and they could all listen to it, or all read it, and then if one typed something back, well, it's Discord now. Well, that was the beginning. And that became popular during the Gulf War. I cannot really remember what year that I was in, but I can look it up, I guess. What year was the Gulf War, I think? Do you write it like that? Gulf War. Yeah. In 1990. Well, that was still, internet was so early. There were no mobile phones. So when at that time, a war was happening, it was far, far away. Far away. You didn't hear anything about it. You didn't know anything about it. You could read in the newspaper that it was a war, but that was about it. And especially in this case, there was no information, really. People didn't know what was happening. But through internet, there was a connection. So internet relay chat, IRC, happened to be the main or a very important source of information about what was really going on. So you could log in into IRC and then chat with people inside the country. Where is this? Persian Gulf War, I guess, Iraq or something like that. So we could talk to Iraq people and then get first-hand information about, what happened in that country. And that made IC boom up, grow until it had like 4,000 people online at any moment. And from that it became more and more popular, and I became a main developer for IRC until we had like a few 100,000 people many years later. I think 7 years later. I left after 7 years, so that was about that. We had networks. Even at first we had one network, and IRC, politics, it was split up in multiple networks. Many networks failed, they didn't get users. But some were alive, and in the end we had like 3 or 4 big networks, each with 150,000, say, users at any time. And then I got bored of that, and then I went to Second Life. Second Life being basically also chat, but now you could see in a virtual world how that looked like. I mean, I guess everyone knows Second Life, but yeah, so mostly people dancing. You can fly, you can teleport. It's just chat, It's what I just described. Friends on the channel became friends in places where they just get together, where they would do certain things and chat. But you can also, give shape to how you look. You can look how you want to. That was very, very attractive for most people, I think. The furries, they wanted to look like cats or wolves or something like that. So that was, for a while, that was very, very popular as well. Yeah, this is more like where I would like to hang out, just cozy place that looks like real life. I like the campfires and nature and stuff like that. But okay. At some point, I was doing Aikido, and some more advanced person said, "Hey, Carlo, come here. I want to show you something." And then they did an advanced throw at me, and I damaged my neck, like whiplash. So unfortunately, I don't know his name, but that ruined my life. Almost, basically, it ruined my life because 10, 20 years of misery. And at some point, I just couldn't use my arms anymore, almost. I couldn't sit behind my computer, I couldn't type. Very suicidal times. But I had a boyfriend on Second Life. And we used to see each other 2 hours a day, every day, at least. Just all adventures, hanging out, always together, building our own tropical island, and we're both intelligent geeks, into researching stuff, because it's a technical world. So, but I couldn't type anymore, so then I switched to voice. But I needed a voice more in order to stay in character. So that's when I built this together with him. Where is that? Yep. I connected this for Discord. So this is a microphone, my real voice, and you are hearing the real voice. The real voice is just going to into here and then to OBS. That's what you are hearing. Here was my voice mover. It's now incomplete because I'm missing a very important module here in the middle. But I used to, let's say, all the wires would be connected to here, or at least Second Life here would be connected to there. And yeah, that became a very important part then for my communication. I mean, with my love of my life. And it had to be perfect. It was perfect. We are both perfectionists, so. That's why I bought this microphone and the analog to digital converter. It has its own external USB based audio card almost. So the microphone goes into the Shure X2, which is then connected via USB to my PC. It's not connected to a sound card, so. Prefect, yeah, I have a Discord channel. I'll make a copy, unless Bear is beating me again. With pleasure, by the way. Invite people, copy, paste. Changes every time. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, there must be a delay, so I'm cheating. But yeah, right now I cannot chat on Discord because it's streaming. And I guess I should continue with the code. If anyone wants to talk to me and it is not super private, please use general or off topic instead of private messages. Nothing personal, that's why I say it in general now. I just have never liked private messages much, which comes from IRC and Second Life, because yeah, I see it as antisocial. So you are in Second Life and everyone is dancing and nobody's talking. Then I'm like, yeah, come on, what the... And if I complain, then they say, yeah, they're all talking in private with each other. Yeah, very social. I mean, if you come together with a group of people on the internet, okay, it's virtual, but still, don't whisper in, company. Unless it's, really personal. But why would it be personal until we really, really know each other? And yeah, we don't yet. Okay. I'm kind of stuck here, right? I have a readme. Okay, pipelines created by call. It's probably already old. And I found it very unreadable as well. It is old. Nah. Nah. What shall I do? It's definitely from before my refactorization. I can make an attempt at making an overview. Let's call this just readme. So we have, I don't know, I have classes. So an example, this thing is derived from characteristic range. And then it can be derived from add fragment shader. Well, let's begin with the other one, with the vertex shader. Add vertex shader. Okay, add fragment shader. Add push constant. I don't think I have any others, actually. No. But okay, these things have, they're just public inheritance, I see. Accelerator, yeah, you have to start slow and then don't give up as usual. In the end, you'll like it, you'll love it, and then you will not be able to ever use another editor anymore. So these are all. Now I want to add an inheritance thingy. So this thing is inherited, derived from yeah, shader states, and then at the moment anyway, virtual. How do we do that? I have to somehow say that this is virtual base class. What about using a V? Oops, and then of course this one too. Of course, I mean this one too. Virtual inheritance. And add push constant is derived from characteristic range bridge and add shader states bridge. Both virtual. Let's just delete all of that. And the add shader states is also derived from characteristic range bridge and add shader states bridge. Okay, so then we have a characteristic range, which is derived from AI stateful task and virtually from characteristic range bridge. Well, let's do that first. So characteristic is just derived from characteristic range. LGL. So yeah, it could be that you derived from all of them. And then all the virtual base classes, there will only be one of them, you know? That's how virtual base classes work. So you could, we can end up with something like, let's say, I don't know why this is indented actually. Tree structure. Add shader stage. There's only one add shader stage, I guess. Should have copied that as well. Let's move it. Let's move it. Control Y. I mean Control V. Y. Note for P's. P. And then here we got copy this, Control V, and then with the J, K, L and stuff. Y is yank, and then we paste it here. Oh, that shifted everything up. I'm using Control Y here, and Control V, Y, and then just a few P's to insert a column of spaces. And then I can remove all of this because this is just the same virtual base class. starting to wonder why add shader states bridge is vertical. Oh, because add push constant is also derived from it. Yeah. So then we have add vertex shader here. Sorry, add shader states. Add vertex shader is derived from add vertex shader. Also vertically. And fragment shader is too. And then the push constant is also derived from this one. And also from that one. I want to replace with that and then use a lot of underscores. Not there. Ew. Maybe a bit much. I don't know. I have to go to my characteristic here at the bottom. So let's use I could use an AI again. Please draw the inheritance, whatever it is, using ASCII art. You know, done. No, you have to do this ourselves. Hello. Yep. Tip. Pardon. There's your inheritance structure, I'll say. Yeah, too bad of this crossing, but I'm not sure how I could fix that. Well, I could put this one much higher and then have no crossing, but okay. The point being that if you inherit from all four, then you have only a single edge here stage, even though this one is derived from it and that one is derived from it. But because we derive using a virtual, so it's a virtual base class, you end up with just one instance per instance of my characteristic. Yeah, so this is a one and the same object that both of them use through a pointer, the virtual base class pointer. And also these are virtual because all of these point to the virtual base class. It's just one instance of these. So the reason that this one is called the Add Shader Stage Bridge is because even though this one, that one are not really related in inheritance, I can still access the shader stage from here by asking, calling a virtual function of this object, which then is implemented only by that one. And the same on that one. They are just meant to, connect. This one even calls virtual functions on this object to get to there, and then this one calls virtual functions on that object to get to there. Stuff like that. Bear, you realize that sounds like you call LGL your dog. Just in case it wasn't intended. And otherwise, you won't hear me say anything. Yeah. And this works. Okay, now you laugh. I understand that you didn't greet LGL before because you were playing with your dog. Yes. Yeah, I got that with the one smiley. Sorry about the yawn. Now, all of this also has a relationship with the pipeline factory. Because the pipeline factory has a pointer to a shader states object. Apparently. I don't think to anything else. Well, that's not true, of course. And it stores pointers to characteristic ranges, I think. I mean, the pipeline factory stores all the characteristics. So you add the my characteristic to a pipeline factory. Now let's have a look how that works. Grep add characteristic. Tired. I guess I should stop. It's 11. I started late. Add characteristic. Yeah, so since all characteristics are derived from characteristic range, and that's what it, and pointer to that is the base class is what it uses. And that's then stored. And we try to cast the thing using dynamic cast to add shader state pointer. So this is guaranteed a base class, but this might or might not be. Because if you derive neither from add vertex shader and nor from add fragment shader, then we don't have that. And then the dynamic cast just returns the null pointer. But if you derived from this one, or from that one, or from both, then you get that add shader state object. And then we remember that. Also. And now my feeling is that I should or can remove the virtual here. But there are many problems with that. Many problems. I mean, at first idea was that if we remove the virtual inheritance, we just get 2 instances. But then each of these instances separately. Oh wait, they might still derive from a single instance of that. They actually might do that. So I would have something like, let me copy this, and I post one is there, and I was about to leave really because it's late. If you don't know any of them, Haunted Death, I would say Rust. I think that, I don't know. I mean, it might be a hype, you know. I thought it was pretty popular at the moment. Let's have a look. I don't feel like coding anymore anyway. We say usage. So lots of stuff to read about it. If you don't know Haunted Death, I don't know anything about Rust, so I would say just read a lot about it, because it is a very big investment to learn one or the other language, I guess. Although I think that anyone who's even mentioning Rust is probably biased towards Rust. So even if you would read all of these articles, and I think they're all written by people that vote for Rust, so then it doesn't really help you. If you ask it to C++ gurus in IRC, they all laugh at Rust. They don't want to talk about it. So yeah, but I don't know, man. Yeah, my thoughts on Rust and C++ in r/Rust. Yeah, that's gotta be positive for Rust. Where do you get a really unbiased I don't think that benchmarks. That's not what it is about, really. I don't care about that, and I don't think that anything can beat C++, to be honest. Or maybe marginally. I think you have to more look at support, opportunities in the market to get a job, or maybe just personal preference based on the syntax or something like that. It's not about benchmarks or. Yeah, so this is a definite pre for C++. It's not going anywhere. Strong foundation. So, lots of stuff out there already. Rust is newer, so maybe they do certain things better, but is it going to be a hype, or is it indeed going to become as big as C++? Yeah, they're talking about performance again. C++, they say here, is the leading language for game development. It's just bullshit. If you write C++, it's gonna be like almost as fast as assembly. How can I design a new language that would be magically faster? That doesn't make any sense. There's also no arguments here. They're just stated. No proof whatsoever. No graphs. No nothing. No explanation. Usually, the more safe you make things, the slower it gets, if you ask me, but okay. I mean, that was the same probability that, the same problem I had with Java. Java was intended to make user interfaces for web pages that were running on the client side. So the client would download code and then execute that. Because it's, of course, for a user interface, you want to have an immediate response and not type a character and then have to wait till the character is sent to the server and processed and sent back and then finally it appears on your screen. So user interfaces have to run locally. But, yeah, well, who's going to download code from a random server and then execute that locally? So they came up with a new language, that was Java, purely to make it safe to do that. Which is, for example, why Java doesn't even have pointers. It is impossible by using the language with its restrictions, deliberate restrictions, to take over someone's computer by having it downloaded by a client. The only thing it really can do is display user interfaces, certainly in the beginning. So the whole language was full of user interface widgets for web pages. That's what it was about. And then people suddenly hyped it up as a real mature language. And I was like, yeah, it isn't. And this whole safety, garbage collection and stuff like that, only makes it slower. And I don't need that safety. I just write programs like I always did. That always have been done. You're not asked to download it from a website. You're just if you download a game, you pay for the game, you download it, you install it, and you run it. You just trust the guys that make the game, that made the game, and that distribute it. So in my eyes, this is like a redo of Java in the sense of, oh my god, memory safety, buffer overflows, memory leaks, I don't know, all that kind of stuff. Dangling pointers that might accidentally read your password from another program, or in my eyes, that's at most slower. Plus, I never have that problem. I never have any problem whatsoever with memory safety in C++. At all. So I don't know what they're going on about. I think all those people cannot code if they have all this memory problem with C++. So much even that they need to design a language that protects them from doing wrong things. Maybe they should have learned to code. Yeah, well, no, I don't like Rust either. Dark boy, well, okay, good luck. I think I'm going to stop because I'm going to do something else, and I stay around here, then I'm going to do something else anyway, and then we'll go to bed very late. Kind of disappointed that I didn't make any progress except picturing this. Okay, I was working on this. So if we make this now non-virtual, then what happens is that this becomes a separate instance. So now we have add shader stage here, and then add shader stage here. and that took too much space. Okay, I guess we can move this. But then this class is also derived virtually from that. And we also have another one. Yeah, that's not going to work. No space. Well, actually, it is working. This has to be... No, wait, that's nonsense. This one went there. This one has to go there. It's even more crossings. It's absolute horror. This one is derived from that one and from that one. This one is derived from that one and from that one. Thank you, Haunted Dev. Well, let's put that under established. You just have a lot of libraries, a lot of communities and libraries that support everything you can think of for C++. And I don't think that exists for Rust yet. You do that every time. Yes, something like this. And then the question is, if I do it like this, why wouldn't that work? And why is it even needed? Well, because I can have a my characteristic that is derived from both, but you can also have a my characteristic that is only derived from add vertex shader, and then another characteristic that is derived only from add fragment shader. And then they cannot share a vertical base class. They could share this class by just having a pointer to it, of course. But yeah, I'm not sure about that. Depends a bit on what's in these bridges. If the bridges only access add shader states, that might work. Let's have a look at that again. Implemented by add shader states, implemented by add push constant. So that would work. And this one, implemented by add shader states. Nope, implemented by add vertex shader and fragment shader. So the characteristic range bridge has vertical functions that are implemented by these two. Yeah, I don't know. Could work around it, I guess. So I could make a real pointer to a single object from here, from here, and from here. And then the vertical function wouldn't get any further than this object. And then from here we need a pointer back to that in order to complete the vertical function route. I did implement my own vertical function stuff. I'm wondering if I could use that. I mean, then I have full control over the pointers, all the vertical pointers, because they're just in a table and they're just real pointers. Yeah, maybe an idea. So that works like this. You just define your own vertical table. And then the vertical functions. And well, the actual instantiation of the vertical table. See, we have direct support for a vertical base class already built into this. Let's add a pure vertical function and a vertical function to override a vertical function. Not remember that I added virtual base classes though. Yeah. Virtual base. Does it explain that? Is it explained somewhere? Or maybe it's not true. And this is the implementation without any documentation. No, I don't think this is not a virtual base class. This is just a base class of the VT pointer things. So this is VT pointer, and then that's the base class 0. I don't think I have virtual base class support here. That's too bad. I would have to add that first as well. You have just virtual functions and pure virtual functions. And yeah. Is that it? Now, in case you wonder why the hell I would have implemented this, that the reason is then that you can dynamically change the virtual functions. So it speeds things up. So if you just want to, you have a virtual table basically that you can alter during runtime. Very dirty stuff. Okay guys, I'm going to stop for today. Good night. I'll be back tomorrow. Try to be earlier. Probably I will be earlier. Thursday is a special day for me, so that's among other reasons that I was a bit slow. And A4, you have to study, man. Continue studying. Damn it. No need for me to stream. You can study without that I'm streaming. Okay? Promise me? Good night. Yeah, while I was streaming. I stopped streaming, you continue studying, until you're satisfied with the study. And I'll see you tomorrow and hear how it goes. Okay. Good night in advance, people.